Jai Hind to all and welcome to this video series of capital budgeting techniques. This topic is related to unit number 2. There are several capital budgeting techniques which are used to evaluate the decisions related to capital budgeting. Capital budgeting decisions are related to the acquisition of fixed asset, and these are long-term decisions which require huge investment in the acquisition of long-term assets. So there are, you can say, the classification of the techniques. You can classify these techniques on the basis of time value of money. There are few techniques which are traditional one and which are not using the basic concept of time value of money. And there are few techniques considered as modern techniques, and these modern techniques are on the basis of TVM concept. So what are these techniques? If we are considering the original traditional or non-discounted cash flow technique, the popular one is payback period and accounting rate of return. If we are considering discounted rate cash flow techniques, that means the techniques which are using the TVM concept, time value of money. Then there are several ones, that is NPV, net present value, PI, that is profitability index, IRR, that is internal rate of return, modified IRR, discounted payback period, and equivalent annualized benefit and cost method. So in your syllabus, payback period and accounting rate of return is there, and in case of modern technique, NPV, PI and IRR is there. Modified IRR, discounted payback and equivalent annualized benefit cost ratio is not in your syllabus. So we will be discussing the only these 5 techniques. So first is payback period. What is that? Payback period means the total time period which is required to recover the original investment or initial investment done by the company in their fixed assets. So if a company purchase a fixed asset, then on the basis of the cash flow, we can calculate that in how many years or how many months that total initial investment will be recovered by the company. The answer will be in the number of years or in the month, that is the time period. So we can decide on the basis of payback period that which asset is good, whether we should go for the expansion plan or not, whether we should go for any capital investment or not. That payback period technique is very simple to understand and easy to calculate. That is the advantage. First line, that means the preliminary evaluation can be done, preliminary analysis can be done on the basis of payback period. But the final decision cannot be taken on the basis of payback period because there are certain limitations. Okay. So advantages are it is very easy to use, very easy to calculate. The answer, that interpretation of the answers are very easy. Quick solution it will provide to the investor. Preference to liquidity, that means the payback, when we are using payback period, we are giving preference to liquidity. That means we are thinking that those projects are very good if the amount are recovered earlier. That means the decision criteria will be lesser is the payback period, better is your decision, better is the investment. Okay. Useful in case of uncertainty. If there are uncertainties in the future years, information is not crisp, in that situation, payback period will give you a right solution. Now, what are the limitations? It ignores time value of money totally. That means it says that the cash flow generated in the year 1 is equivalent to the cash flow generated in the year 10. No consideration of time value. Not all the cash flows are covered. What it means? Payback period is considering only the time period which is required to recover the initial investment. After that recovery of the investment, if the company is company generating cash flow for a long period, that means after the payback period, if cash is generated by the company, it is totally ignored. Not realistic and ignore profitability. Payback period is based on the cash flow. It is not based on the profitability of the projects. Neglect the project's return on the investment. Obviously, payback period is based on the time. Right, so it totally ignores the ROIs which are generated by the projects or by the assets. Now coming to ARR. ARR is also very simple to calculate. ARR is based on accounting profit, right? Accounting rate of return, that means it is a type of ROI which is based on the accounting profit. It determines the annual return on the profit expected. ARR, you can say that for the preliminary screening you can use payback period, and for further screening, for further investigation, you can use accounting rate of return. It determines the annual return or average annual return generated by the project, but it also ignores the time value of money, because these two, payback period and ARR, are related to the your traditional techniques, considered as traditional techniques, so they are not using time value of money. Does not consider timing of the cash flow or the timing of the net income. That is the same thing. So what is the formula for ARR? ARR is equal to average net income. This net income will be calculated as average PAT, profit after tax, okay, and divided by average investment. Add, how can you calculate average net income? Add net income for each year and divided by the number of years. That is the simple formula you are using for the calculation of average of anything. So, but do remember that net income is here, will take PAT, profit after tax. What about average investment? Add beginning book value and ending book value, opening book value and closing book value divided by 2. Now what are the limitations? Does not consider time value. That is the major limitation why these techniques are not so popular, because of that only, because they are not considering time value of money. Views points near views profits near the beginning of the useful life equal to those of end. That means they are treating as same, and last is the same. That means it ignores time value of money. It is not based on the cash flow. That means it is considering the non-cash item like depreciation, etc. in their calculation. So that is a problem also. So this is the formula I have already discussed. Average annual profit after tax divided by average investment. Here we have the formula, another formula for average investment, 1 by 2. Initial cost of project plus installation cost minus salvage value plus additional working capital which is required for installation of machine or execution of that project. Next is NPV. NPV is net present value, and this technique is very popular in case of evaluation or analysis of the civil projects or different projects which requires huge investment. NPV and IRR is most you can say acceptable techniques, right, which are used by the companies. Net present value is equal to the total, you can say the present value of the cash inflow, present value of the total cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow, right? So in that situation, you can see here that we are calculating present value of future cash flow. That means we are considering time value of money, and we are taking all the cash flows which are generated by the project or by the company on that particular project or machine throughout the life of the machine or life of the project. That means if company is going to install a machine and the life of the machine is 10 years, then NPV will be based on the total cash flow generated by the machine throughout the life. That means 10 years of the that total 10 year cash flow generated in the 10 years will be taken into consideration. Okay. Now how to calculate? That is very simple. You have to calculate present value of future cash flow. For purpose of present value of cash flow, you need the time and the hurdle rate of return or discount rate. So all these things are required, and then by using your PVF table, you can pick the PV factor for that particular year, and after this calculation, that means cash flow multiplied by PV factor minus cash outflow, you will get your NPV. Now NPV is not so difficult to calculate, but it is just required a level of understanding that you have to calculate present value of all the future cash flow generated by the project, right? And then you have to deduct the investments, right? We just have to see that which present value is higher. That means if you want to analyze, if you want to evaluate a project on the basis of NPV, then you have to see that positive NPV should be there. If the investment or asset or project is generating negative NPV, that means your outflow is more than cash inflow. So that project will not be acceptable. Negative NPV value is not acceptable. But in case of ranking, if you want to rank mutually exclusive, you can say 2 or 3 projects, in that situation, higher positive NPV will be ranked 1. The first rank will be higher positive value, right? And so on the decreasing order, you can give ranks, right? So these are the method I have already discussed. You need cash flow, right? this NPV is not depend upon the accounting profit. You have to first calculate cash flow, cash inflow and cash outflow both. Then you need a hurdle rate or cutoff rate or discount rate. After having discount rate and life of the project, you just go to the PVF table and find out the PVF factor, and then you multiply cash flow with PV factor and then add all the discounted cash inflows, and then minus the present value of cash outflow. You will get your NPV. Decision rule I have already discussed. Then positive NPV will be acceptable, negative NPV will be rejected, and the projects having higher positive NPV will be ranked 1. Okay. Now, next technique is profitability index. Once you calculate NPV, then calculation of PI is very easy, because PI also needs the same values which we are using in NPV. Profitability index is capital vesting technique to evaluate investment projects for their viability or profitability. PI index also a technique which is based on TVM concept. Discounted cash inflow and discounted cash outflow will be taken. How to calculate? It is basically a ratio. Ratio means discounted cash inflow divided by discounted cash outflow. And if this value is 1, it means discounted cash inflow is equal to discounted cash outflow. That is the point of indifference. So how to decide? If the PI value is greater than 1, then project will be viable, project will be profitable, and it will be accepted. And if it is less than 1, then it will be rejected. Okay. For ranking of the projects, the value, the profitability index value greater than 1, or the highest profitability index value which is greater than 1 will be ranked 1, and so on. What are the advantages? It considers time value of money, right? So it is also as good as your NPV value. But when we compare the NPV and PI index, these two techniques, then in that situation NPV will be preferred, because it will give you a, you can say, the value. It will give you the value in rupees, the amount, rather than giving a ratio, right? Disadvantage: two projects having vast difference in the investment and the dollar return can have same PI. Why it is so? Because it is in ratio. In that situation, NPV will be good, right? Absolute figure will be given by NPV. So you can go with NPV. Now the last technique is IRR, internal rate of return. Internal rate of return is very much equivalent, very much similar to ROI, which is generated by the company. Internal rate of return is discounted cash flow technique, TVM based technique, and IRR is that percentage of return or that discount rate at which NPV is 0. That means it gives you an R means discount rate, at which NPV is 0. That means your present value of cash inflow is equivalent to present value of cash outflow. IRR is very popular, well accepted techniques in case of civil project and large investment. It makes the decision fast and simple. There are so many softwares available in the market, or even you can use Excel sheet for calculation of IRR. The project is not able to get its investment back. This method will give you negative percentage, negative IRR, if that investment is a loss-making investment. Advantage is it's simple to tell what is the project under concern will return in terms of percentage. We do not need to decide a hurdle rate in advance. Disadvantages: it is not considering the dollar value. I don't think so. That means disadvantages, it is a little bit complex in nature, because IRR is calculated on the basis of hit and trial, right? You have to find out that what will be the tentative R at which your NPV is 0. So you have to check it out, hit and trial, again you have to calculate that what is the NPV at different R, and then you will be able to calculate your IRR. Then how to decide on the basis of IRR? If you want to evaluate your project on the basis of IRR, then you have to compare IRR with your predetermined or your expected rate of return, predetermined rate of return. Suppose in a project, calculated IRR is suppose 15%, and your expectation from the project is 18%. In that situation, your project will be rejected. But if your expectation is 12% and calculated IRR is 15%, then obviously your project will be acceptable. So it will depend upon your own expectations. This is the method of calculation, how to calculate IRR. I already told you that it is an hit and trial method. So calculate PV factor by using following formula. If you calculate PV factor, approximate PV factor by using annual cash flow or by using average cash flow, it will give you an idea that what will be the tentative NPV, right? So in that situation, what to do? PV factor is equal to initial investment divided by annual cash flow. It can be annual cash flow or average cash flow. Search a nearest value of PVF from PVAF table for the given number of years, right? Given number of years means if the life of the machine is 10 years, then you have to search R for the 10th year, right? 10th year column, not column, 10th year row basically. 10th year row, you are required to calculate the PVF. One value should be higher and one value should be lower to PVF. Nearest value will be searched. Take discount rate for those higher and lower value. Calculate present value for cash inflow with the help of discount rate and apply the formula. You calculate NPV for lower level and higher PVF. Higher PVF and lower PVF, you will calculate NPV. And once you get NPV, your one NPV will be positive and other NPV will be negative, right? So once you get two different R's, right, or PV factor, then in that situation, you can apply this formula. IRR is equal to lower rate plus NPV at lower rate minus PV factor, NPV at lower rate, right, and NPV at lower rate minus NPV at higher rate. The difference between these two multiplied by higher rate minus lower rate. Higher rate minus lower rate will be 1%. The difference will be 1% only because we take NPV at two consecutive PVF. So this figure will always be 1%. Okay. Again, the decision rule, I have already told you that how to decide in case of you can say NPV, a positive NPV will be accepted, and in case of mutually exclusive projects, the highest positive NPV will be ranked 1. Similarly for ARR, if ARR is more than predetermined rate, then it will be accepted. Highest ARR will get your rank 1, right? Similarly for PB, payback period, lesser the payback period, better is the project, okay? And for mutually exclusive project, shortest payback period will be ranked 1. So all this, now one more thing, that PI index, how we decide on the basis of PI index. If PI index or profitability index is greater than 1, then project will be viable, project will be acceptable, and in case of mutually exclusive projects, higher PI profitability index will be ranked 1. So that's it for evaluation of different techniques. You can use your textbook for practice questions. Okay, thank you so much.